Give us your game assessment of the way you guys were able to pull that out with Cooper Rush at quarterback.
Well, I think the key is that he rewarded the confidence, if you will, that staff had in him, coaches. And really Dak, before the game with the team, talked about how Cooper had, over the years, been so important and how he had such confidence in him. And he gave the team a real assurance that Cooper could get the job done. I think that was very meaningful. The team played so confidently around him, and he played with confidence that he gained from being around the team. You know, we really can't state and overstate the importance of that confidence and believing, because the quarterback's going to make some bonehead plays, so to speak, and it just happens. And the defense makes you do that a lot of times. So having said that, confidence is the word that comes to me about how he played and how the team played around him.
Jerry, did you get a chance to see the footage of his dad and his family celebrating, or did you run into them after the game?
I did. I did not see them after the game, but I did get to see them celebrating and saw some of those shots of them just in deep concentration, if you will, as he was playing in the game. I can imagine how they were hanging on everything he was doing out there. It's really phenomenal to me that he could come in there and have the presence of mind to be his first time really to have that on his back like that and play at that level. That's very rare and really exceptional, and gives our team tremendous confidence as we look down the road.
Jerry, when you see how he played and that the team won, does this factor into a decision of maybe bringing Dak back or resting him another game? Like, hey, we might be able to steal another one, get Dak even healthier, or do you not look at injuries and return like who your backup is and really care about that?
Well, the thing is that it was true last week, and it will be again true this week. We want to see how Dak is responding. We have every reason to think that he's on go, and he should be ready to go. This will give him quite a layoff, concluding the bye week that we had. So we have every reason to think that he'll be on the field for us this week. But we should take a look at it and engage how he's responding. He's the key. He can tell you how he's feeling and whether or not he's comfortable or not.
How close was the call, Jerry? Was it really up until game time, or you guys knew deep down a few days before Cooper would get the start?
Well, I think it was a game time decision. And had he been able to go out there and really have just no sensitivity and no consequences, but we were on a thin decision-making course here. And when I say thin, we saw that we had the luxury of being able to try it without him. And when you looked at everything at play here, it felt like that we would be conservative as to playing him. And I think that was the key. And like I said, as late in the game as the night before, even before his workout there Sunday morning, we were anticipating that he might not be the starter.
You and Steven seem optimistic about Dak versus Denver. How about Tyron and Trayvon for this upcoming week?
Again, we'll have to see how Tyron practices and say it's a spur. And so we'll take a look at that as it moves through. We should and will practice with alternatives to him being out there, but it'll really depend on how he does again respond to a spur that's giving him some anxiety right now. Not anxiety, just giving him some pain.
Jerry, what is Lael's role with the team right now?
Well, obviously he's an outstanding offensive lineman specifically. I don't want that to sound trite. But he's the enforcer, and that's a big statement. He really has a lot of the aura that you want for an offensive line to be. They need to be that for a team, in my mind, and that is we're just going to run it down their throat. He's the leader of that group. And so I think that my hat's off to him, the way he's handled his off-the-field stuff during this past, if you will, year and a half. And he did not have a good training camp because of limitations on coming back with his surgery. And so he wasn't able to really improve and really have the preparation that you'd like to see him have. But he's getting there, and he will get there. And this may spur it on because he does have really outstanding position flex. Yeah. Most offensive linemen do. Some just really have to struggle with it, and that's moving around from position to position. You don't ever want to move two guys if you don't have to. And so he'll serve all of that role, but he's played all the positions except center. And we'll use him, and this could be the time we use him the most.
So, Jerry, if Tyron had to miss a game or some time, do you think Nsekhe would stay there at left tackle, or could you put Lael over there? Could you put Steele at left tackle with Lael back to his natural right tackle spot, or do you still view him as a guard? How would that work up front if Tyron was out?
Okay, it was a question, but you actually had your answer. You covered all the bases right there. And that'll get worked out. It'll get worked out here pretty early this week as they work through, look at what we're up against with Denver, and then look at what we may be dealing with, and we'll see it practice there Wednesday and go from there. But, our coaches have a good idea of where they want to go with this thing, but at the end of the day, we'll see how it works on the field at practice.
Jerry, I have a question about injury mystery. Like, do you guys? Xavier Woods after the game said, "Well, we were preparing for Dak." How can you guys tell when being vague about injury status really gives you that advantage to make them prepare for Cooper Rush or Dak, or who you would play at left tackle and right tackle? Because us as fans were like, everyone does this. How much does it actually matter? Can you give your input on that?
Well, unless they've got cameras at your practice, they being the opponent team, which they don't. But unless they have that, it makes all the difference in the world. Mm. You have a big drop-off when a player does not get his weekly preparation to play the team on the weekend. You have a big drop-off. Preparation, the repetition, the just getting your mind wrapped around the different attributes of the players you're playing in front of or competing against. That is huge. Randy White invented the idea of preparation. And so that if you anticipate another player in there, especially at a key position like a quarterback, or you could even make the case for a left tackle, that preparation could make all the difference in the world. And there's no question that you would approach your game with some different technique or some different emphasis if certain players were playing or not playing. So it's big. It's big. It's singularly the best thing I know to keep your mouth shut during the week as to who's going to be playing a position, if there's a question mark. It's singularly the most effective tact that you can do apart from being on the field and just out footballing them.
Good answer. And we know you're excited about reinforcements coming. Do you have any status update on DeMarcus Lawrence and Michael Gallup coming back?
Well, Michael is the closest of the two you just mentioned. DeMarcus is making tremendous progress. And, of course, what we have to fear on him is when he gets out there, because he doesn't know but one gear. And that is all out, every day, all the way, every day, so to speak. But the bottom line is that he is progressing. Don't look for him in the next couple of weeks, but we don't want to say too much about that either, do we, in terms of our opponents. So the point is that Gallup will be the first one up between the two.
Jerry, the deadline is here, trade deadline. The Rams made a big move yesterday getting Von Miller. Do y'all look at what other teams have done and prior to the deadline and maybe react to what they might do, division mates or guys you are fighting with for that top spot?
Well, I think you need to stay aware of what other clubs are doing, where they're looking to improve. Of course, all of that goes out the window after today with the deadline over. I mean, the time to trade over. But again, the things that I've seen that were really outstanding and made the best sense was when the phone rings and they come to you. That's all the difference in the world. And it is really hard to go get. You pay a huge price, a premium, when you go get. But if you'll sit there and take it and then something comes along that just happens to hit you right between the eyes good, then that's something to think about there. But I don't look for us to be doing anything today.
Jerry, philosophically, how do you weigh, if there was a piece out there that someone came calm with versus not disrupting something special you have going on right now, not wanting to mix this up versus adding something that would seem to make sense on paper? How do you weigh that?
Well, you weigh it. You really do weigh it. And you weigh the impact of the move relative to your overall plan, whether it be the cap or whether it be what your plans looking ahead at the draft, just your whole makeup. Everything goes into it. And, that really is what you have is you have an individual or individuals that's got the whole picture in their mind. And you can't just go off with one tangent of a decision here. And so everything has to go into it, planning ahead, looking ahead at the players you've got when their contracts are up, all of those things. Let me say this. Do you put an emphasis on what you got? Don't mess with it. It's rolling. It's going good. Do you put an emphasis on the help on the way that we have on our own team? Do you put an emphasis that you've got some young players that you really do want to get out there? Don't bring a progress stopper. And then by all means, you take into consideration the personality, the ethos, if you will, of who you bring in. It can be very impactful. And it can be impactful for who you're bringing in. They may not work with the group that you've got. Deion Sanders, when we brought Deion in, I first went to Michael, and I went to Troy, and I went to Emmett. And I told them about Deion, and I said, now he's going to be paid a huge amount. What do you think? And they gave me their opinion, and then I got in front of the whole team, and I got up on a blackboard in front of the entire team. And I said, y'all look at this decision. And I put up on that board how much he was going to make. And I said, do we bring him in? And I mean, it sounded like an eruption. Hell yes.